welcome to your award-winning The Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every single week through news and headlines ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Daniel, and in this very first episode of 2022, we have Julian kicking off the year from Lazy Gaming Guys. Welcome back, Julian.
Hello, everyone. I'm here, ready to ring in the new year with my stuff.
All right. Well, we're off to a great start.
I don't know what to say. I'm the first one in the year. I feel so special.
You should. For anyone, if this is your very first episode, the way we format the show is we go through a chunk of news. That's the majority of the episode. And then we end it off with the Brokehead Block, which is what Julian and I have been doing since the last time he was on. Once a month, we do a What's New on Netflix and What's New on HBO Max, which is this week for HBO Max. So let's jump right in and explore sector number 489. IDW Comics has announced yet another Sonic the Hedgehog comic book, but this one is a tie-in to the second movie. It is a prequel tie-in comic. The solicitation reads, catch up with Sonic and friends, if you can, in this exclusive prequel to 2022's most anticipated family film. End quote. Doesn't surprise me, but I am really glad that they're doing this because Sonic, not only in comics, but on the big screen seems to be doing really well.
Yes, I am actually seeing that trailer during the Game Awards was pretty neat. I'm very excited to see how it's going to turn out.
I wonder what kind of prequel stuff they can put in here. I'm guessing they can cover a little bit of Knuckles if it's not in the movie on how he gets tricked by Eggman. They're going to have to retell that from like they do in the video games with Sonic 3. Or if it'll simply be, extra content of Sonic living in the real world. And really, it's just an excuse to sell more Sonic stuff to the collectors, to people like Scott or Treasure Hunting Sonic, who like to collect all of the covers. And this one is going to have a cover A and a 1 in 10 incentive variant.
With this Knuckles thing, I want them to, once it's proven that Knuckles was tricked, Sonic has to say, way to go, Knucklehead, like he does in Sonic Adventure. If he doesn't say it, I'm going to be very disappointed.
You'll just walk out in that moment, never finish it?
I'm not going to walk out of the movie. I'm just going to drop it a star of how many, out of 5 of how many I'm giving it.
What if they drop in a Ugandan Knuckles reference? Would that make up for it?
I will walk out the movie at that. If they make it, no. If they make a Ugandan, if he says, do you know the way at one point in the entire movie, I'm leaving. Because I'm not going to sit here and deal with that stupid meme anymore. I hated it when it was so popular. And Jacques kept freaking repeating it all the time because he knew it, but pissed me off.
Dude, I'm glad you and I are in the same boat because Kelly, my significant other as well, also repeats it constantly. Just constantly will. Anytime Knuckles comes up, she'll be like, oh, he knows. And I'm like, he knows what? The way. I'm like, God damn it, Kelly. Every time. It came back now because of Knuckles. Anytime there's Knuckles material, that stupid meme returns. I never thought it was funny. And maybe it's because I'm a Knuckles fan. Is he your favorite character?
No, I was more of a Tails fan when I was younger.
Okay, then it's just a dumb meme.
Yeah, it's just a dumb meme that got a lot of traction because people are stupid. It's like when you come on my stream and do a D's nuts joke. At this point, at one point you just kind of ignore it and move on with your life. You acknowledge that it happened and that I'm stupid for falling for it, but then after that it's moved on. I'm gonna look into this comic book and see if it has anything interesting before the movie. I'm just really excited for the movie. But I'm also cautiously optimistic because I don't go into movies with super high excitement anymore because I've seen too many. Especially ones made for family with the word family film connected to it.
Well, we did end up learning more from the world of Mario, actually, because of Sonic the Hedgehog. So 2 years ago, we're going to put on our conspiracy theories hats or whatever. What do they call them? The tinfoil. There you go. 2 years ago, someone took to 4chan to talk about the future of Mario and the future of Sonic the Hedgehog. At the time, the 4chan poster threw around the name Sonic Frontiers set in the Starfall Islands. 2 years later, this was confirmed through the Game Awards, which you just mentioned, takes place in the Starfall Islands, and it's called Sonic Frontier. So that immediately lends legitimacy to this whole thing. As part of that same leak was the confirmation of Super Mario Odyssey 2 with Luigi as a playable character, which confirmed co-op mode as part of the features. It also named Yoshi as another playable character in Super Mario Odyssey 2. So seeing that there was some pretty specific confirmations on this, do you put any legitimacy to Super Mario Odyssey 2?
With Super Mario Odyssey 2, as Luigi as a playable character, hopefully it's better than what they did to him in Mario Galaxy, where you had to play through the entire game before you had to play him, and then 2, you played through half of the game before you actually got a chance to use Luigi.
Oh,
and then Yoshi returned to being a writable thing instead of an actual character in Galaxy 2, which him in Galaxy 2 was a lot better than what they did to him in Sunshine.
Yeah.
And I like the juice spitting Yoshi, but it's not, but no.
And I think I can see Odyssey 2 happening, especially how they did it with Galaxy 2, where they're like, we already had all of these assets done and a bunch of levels that we had to cut from the game because they just kept creating them. And they had enough to where they're like, we can just make a whole new game out of this, where it was more difficult levels because the creators at that point had gotten real good with the engine and making the game. And that's kind of what this was. Super Mario Galaxy 2 was like an expansion, but its own game at the same time. So with Odyssey 2, it wouldn't shock me if there was a bunch of content that never made it in the first one, something that they could make an entire game of, repackage it, sell it again. And I think it would do pretty well. From what I remember, Odyssey 1 was very well received, and it also sold pretty good.
Yeah, also Odyssey 1 had, if you actually look at the map, there's a bunch of areas that you haven't gone to yet on there, especially since they had that tease of of the Dolphin Island at the bottom, which is Isle Delfino.
Oh, nice.
And that's like, are we going to go there? No, we're not going to go there. We're not going to see the Piata. So essentially, this might be Mario Odyssey 2, if it is a legitimate thing. It might be the Mario Galaxy 2 of it, and we're going to see the rest of the world maybe. And Yoshi being a playable character, hopefully it's a thing, and he doesn't, not just something that we ride on, because the Mario characters ride Yoshis, but it's, I miss him back in the DS 64 game where he was his own character.
Yeah,
because that was fun. But he does have his own games, which are pretty good, so I can't complain.
That's very true. He has his own, just like the Kirby games are great standalone games, and a lot of these spin-off characters can hold up their own, which is really nice.
Yeah, these spin-off Smash Brothers characters.
Yeah, pretty much at this point. There's more rumored titles here, as we have over on Reddit. There's an entire page dedicated to Bully 2. And fans of the Rockstar Games series have pointed out that the Rockstar Games website has been updated with a new logo. This is the same logo that was used by the company at E3 2005, right before the original game was announced. So there is a little bit of pattern here. Conflicting rumors have surfaced claiming that Rockstar Games is back to working on Bully, but that it's a remaster of the first game and not in fact Bully 2. So there's some disagreements there on why that logo was changed. No, it's not a sequel. It's just a remaster. Rockstar Games has that reputation of changing the logo depending on whatever games on deck that they are working on. So obviously there is something Bully related coming out. And if we're to keep this same pattern going of Rockstar updating its logo, do you think we're getting any more Bully, whether it's Bully 2 or the remaster?
It sounds like they may remaster it first to see if they can get some traction off of it, and then maybe make another, and then maybe show off it's Bully 2, or it may be Bully 2. It's kind of up in the air with Rockstar because they're not as predictable as all the other remastering people, when they're not giving us another version of GTA 5 on whatever console comes out. And then with the whole controversy of Rockstar terrible all the PS2 games having that terrible remake that came out recently, it's not even like, it's like it's the PS2 thing couldn't handle. It's like, no, y'all didn't actually try hard enough. Whatever emulation you were using, it didn't work out to your advantage.
I remember the first Bully game doing really well when I worked at GameStop. Was it rated M? Do you remember?
I think it was rated. I don't remember if it was rated M or teen. I think it was rated. It was rated M because they couldn't have anything too crazy because it was a children's game.
Well, a game starring kids.
Not children's game. It was a game starring children. Blah.
Yeah, because I remember that being like when parents were like, look, you can't get GTA 3. And then I would then recommend, well, there is Bully. And that one is not, you don't bang hookers. You don't drive around shooting random people. You don't go to strip clubs. And it's mainly like a type of academy that you go to. And yes, there's other kids you fight, and there's some pranks you play, and it's not really at the level of GTA. And that's kind of what they would go to instead. They'd be like, all right, well, you can get Bully, but I'm not going to let you get GTA. It was like the safer version of it. And yeah, they'd be kind of disappointed, but they also wouldn't say no to Bully. And a lot of people really enjoyed it more enough to where probably those same kids that grew up on that game are on this Reddit board asking for part 2.
I never really played Bully. I played like an hour of it, but I think my younger brother was the one who ended up playing it more, and he was the one who rented it back when you could rent video games.
Yeah.
And but it's like he rented it, even though it was rented under for my parents. It was rented under me, but he ended up playing it more than I did. And pretty much the biggest Rockstar game for me was Vice City. I enjoyed the hell out of Vice City. I like the aesthetic, especially since I was born and raised in Florida. I know what Miami looks like.
Nice. And the soundtrack itself helped. It was amazing. I remember when they sold just the soundtrack on its own.
I think that's the reason why I'm into some 80s music so much. Because of that game. It's just, it started the boom. And then I think around the time that came out, I was watching, in my infinite boredom of being in a house with a TV and too many damn channels, watching VH1 specials about the 80s and junk. And so I ended up just falling in love with the music and stuff and ridiculous stuff from the 80s.
Nothing wrong with that at all. This week we do have torrent news. It's not often that we do have it, but I thought this was really interesting. As part of its year-end lists, Torrent Freak says Wanda's Visions was by far the most pirated show of the year. Loki is second on the list, while Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Hawkeye are 4th and 5th on that list. And the website said, quote, with the current streaming landscape being so fragmented, it appears that many people prefer to pirate instead of paying for another subscription. That definitely applies to Marvel fans, end quote. And I definitely think that's probably a big thing. I hear that a lot with people saying, oh, great, another service to subscribe to. And I'm like, you know what? Pirate the Marvel stuff, and you don't need to subscribe to Disney Plus. It's all up on there.
I was thinking about doing that with some of especially with these Amazon Prime things. It's like, I don't do enough package stuff or Amazon Prime. And then the Amazon and the other stuff they offer on their video service, there's not enough TV shows, anime, movies that really make me want to get an Amazon Prime account.
Yeah.
At all. So I had to torrent, what's that show that cartoon everybody was talking about?
Invincible?
I pirated like the first 3 episodes of that. And I haven't gone back to pirate more yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame people at all. It's one of those things where, like, even if you get the free trial, just to try out, for example, Invincible, I don't know, like most people forget, or they're just too lazy to go in, cancel it, put why they're canceling it, all that stuff. I thought it was interesting that these shows were like, look, I'll torrent it, but I'm not going to sign up for another subscription for these shows. Like, fuck that. That was good. So good on Torrent Freak. It's not something that I do, but torrent the shows instead of signing up for Disney Plus. I think that's the way to go. We have the Batman news, which, if you've heard the podcast over the last couple of months, I've changed my tune on quite a bit as this boycott Warner Brothers thing has been going on. The Batman producer Dylan Clark wants to top Christopher Nolan's trilogy with this movie. I thought this was crazy. He said, quote, I've said this to Christopher Nolan directly. Look, we're trying to be the best Batman ever made, and we're going to try to beat you, end quote. And the director, Matt Reeves, said, quote, Bruce, he's got that Kurt Cobain thing where he looks like a rock star, but you also feel like he could be a recluse, end quote. And I'm like, what the fuck? People on Twitter were calling him Kurt Cobain RoboCop Batman.
Kurt Cobain RoboCop Batman. That's a description.
It's so fucking, I don't know. It's terrible sounding. It's terrible looking. What the producer and the directors are saying. It's kind of insane. When Zach did Batman v Superman, and he's like, we're going to get Batman. I'm going to do my Batman here. Chris Nolan was all on board with it. Like, they're buddies. It's just kind of funny that the producers are, sure, aim high, right? Try to make the best Batman film you can. But I've never seen it where a director goes, we're going to top your Batman. I've never. That's kind of crazy. Yeah.
That's so unnecessary. You didn't see, you didn't see Christopher Nolan trying to say, I'm going to make the other Batman movies, put them to shame. No, it's like, make your own thing because you want to tell the Batman story this way. Not even the Spider-Man movies try to one up the other. Like, we want to tell the Spider-Man movies in our own way. The Marvel one fails at it, but they just want to tell that movie. They just, it's like, tell your movie in your own way. You don't see other comic book creators going out and saying, I'm going to write Superman this way so I can do better than such and such, or whatnot. It's like, no, they're just writing an interpretation of their own of their version of the story. Don't try to be better than someone else. Do what you want to make first, and if it does better, congratulations. But if you're trying to make it better, you're setting yourself up for failure because you're comparing yourself to someone else's thing. Never compare yourself to another person's idea and story because you're just setting yourself up. It's like, oh, we got to do this better. We got to do that better. We got to change this, change that. It's like, no, because then you're not going to have anybody who's going to want to write for that because it's like, not because they're going to be criticized all the time.
That's my exact point too, where let the work stand on its own. And if it is better than Nolan's, then congratulations. I'm not seeing it. If they restore the Snyderverse, maybe I'll go see it. But until they do, no, fuck that. But if they do, great. If you enjoyed the Kurt Cobain Batman and you think that's a better one than Nolan's or Snyder's, good for you. But to go out and say something like this, it gets people kind of already rooting against you in a way as a producer of like, really? You think you're going to top Nolan's? Like, that's really what you're going to do? It's really going to be scrutinized even more than it already is. Like, it's already kind of weird with the car Batmobile. It's not really a Batmobile. It's just more like a car.
You mean like back in the 40 serial Batmans?
Well, even that was more of a Batmobile than this one.
It didn't even have like wings. It was just a car that did fancy things, and that's it. That's not the Batmobile. That's the Get Smart car.
Yeah, and the only way that I kind of, and I don't know if this is where this concept came from, because years ago, my favorite director, Darren Aronofsky, before they did Batman Begins, one of the takes that Warner Brothers heard, they got all these directors and writers, and they're like, all right, what do you want to do with Batman? And from there, they decided on a direction. But Aronofsky's was, he wanted to reinvent the character to where he's not rich. He and Alfred run a mechanic shop, and out of the mechanic shop, they build the Batmobile. They build like a super car. And I'm like, that Batmobile sounds like the one that we're seeing right now on the big screen, where it doesn't belong to a rich guy. But in the movie itself, it sounds like he is. It's still a rich Bruce Wayne. He's got a butler. He's got the big cave. From the screenshots I've seen, he's wearing like expensive clothes. So it just doesn't really fit in that concept. Again, if it were to be Aronofsky's take on that Batman, sure, I get it. It's a car that they built, Alfred and him. Great. But in this case, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Doesn't look good. And comments like these aren't helping.
No. I feel like it's just someone trying to face the backlash of all this boycotting going on.
Yeah.
I think there's other things, it's like, I think you need to be worried about other things and trying to one up this. I think you should be trying to rebuild a decent fan base, because I've heard that a lot of people are falling out of a lot of DC things. Warner Brothers. It's kind of like, get it together.
Absolutely. That's absolutely happening. I also saw one of the screenshots of Pattinson without a shirt. So we got to see that the rumors might have been true, where he refused to really bulk up for the role. Matt Reeves apparently was really upset at him. That was the rumor, that he just refused to do didn't attend the sessions to work out with the bodybuilder. They always got a guy that they put under these actors to make them bulk up. And he refused to. And from the screenshot, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look like, it's like, you're getting paid millions of dollars to be the fucking Batman. You better get fucking huge.
Fucking Val Kilmer's fucking small ass, fucking at least did a little bit more, gained more muscle to be Batman. Come on. Regardless of regardless of the suit actually, the Joel Schumacher suit actually giving him fucking muscles on the suit and an ass, but it's like he's still bulked up a little bit for it. He wasn't fucking emaciated. It's like it's like if you're gonna be Batman, Batman's fucking, he's not jacked. He's at least fucking toned. At least tone up a little bit. You can't just go in there looking like fucking Thor and fucking and the Endgame all fat and shit. It's like that's a joke Batman. Oh my god. I'm not saying he's fat, but it's like
he does not look like Batman. That's the problem.
I'm gonna have to see this. I don't want to see this picture now. I was gonna look it up, but now if I look up this picture, I think I might get pissed off more. Because I didn't really I read this and it's like I read this, I heard about this article, but it's like at the same time it's like I'm like, what the hell? It's like, whatever, you guys do what you. And now, like, hearing more details of it, I'm actually getting angry.
One of my buddies on Twitter, Sil Abdul, good guy, and he put on Twitter, I like him, and I'm not calling him out or anything. I'm just saying what I tweeted back. He was saying that, he looks kind of swole in this picture. And I'm like, well, if he looks kind of swole in that picture, I could almost practically play Batman if that's fucking swole. And that's not a good thing. It's like half the population could play Batman if that's considered swole at that point. It's just kind of funny to me. But, there's going to be people, and this isn't Sil. I know Sil's on both sides here. There's going to be people that are going to defend the shit out of this movie because they don't want the Batfleck film to happen. So they're going to immediately uphold this one as the big one. And I want to see Toby Emmerich fired. So anything that comes out of the Hamadaverse, I'm hoping tanks, just like the rest of these DC movies have been, like Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984, The Suicide Squad, the new one by Pedo Gunn. So if we continue to give it the old Hamadaverse treatment, boycott it, Discovery's going to look at these numbers and go, yeah, I don't think this is the direction we're going to go in. Maybe firing Zach wasn't a good idea.
Oh, we're still calling him that. Okay. I know it's not going to change. It doesn't change anything. I know it's not going to change. I know calling him by his normal name is not going to change anything, but it's like, okay, so the reasons I'm broke meme of calling him Pedo Gunn still going. Good to see.
Especially when on Twitter, he quote tweeted a couple weeks ago, someone that's underage who went to see Pedo Squad, I think 20 something times.
Oh.
And he was like, oh, look at this great guy, went and saw this movie this many times. And later on in the thread, someone's like, he probably works at a movie theater. And the guy was like, I don't work anywhere. I'm underage. So I'm going, all right, you're underage. You're somehow seeing this R-rated The Suicide Squad movie. But then also Pedo Gunn, of course, he would pick the underage guy to quote tweet and blow up on Twitter. Like, I'm like, does anyone else see this?
Oh my God.
It's just a gift that keeps on giving. It's pretty funny.
It's so sad.
We have more, I think, unfortunate news for Warner Brothers here, as in an interview with Collider, longtime Matrix producer James McTigg said that there are currently no further plans for another Matrix follow-up after The Matrix Resurrections.
Thank God.
He said, quote, look, for us, I think at the moment, it's just the movie you've seen. We've got no prequel in mind. We've got no sequel in mind. We've got no further trilogy. But I think the film also works where it's really open to audience interpretation, like what happened in those 60 years before they fished Neo out again, or Thomas Anderson to Neo, end quote. It hasn't done well at the box office. I think it had pulled in $6 million domestically over the week, cost $168 million from what I saw to produce. This movie is not making its money back. I mean, sure, you got Spider-Man No Way at Cinema out there, and maybe that's affecting some of the box office there. But honestly, I don't see a lot of people excited for The Matrix to be coming back. Even by the time that third one released 15 years ago or so, it was like, all right, people, it seemed like we're watching it just to finish off the trilogy. It didn't seem like they were hungering for more Matrix after.
No, it's like I think everybody's moved on and and The Matrix is just now another cult. It's another cinema cult classic. It's like nobody. It's just redefined how people did action scenes and yada 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 blah blah blah, and has been memed the hell and high water. It's just another moment of people trying to cash in on older nostalgic people and. I don't know. It's like I didn't know there was a group of people out there who still gave a shit about the Matrix and all this stuff. It's like pretty much whenever you hear someone bring up the Matrix, it's because fucking they're tinfoil hatting.
It's funny too because Lana was saying that every year, and I don't know for how long Warner Brothers was doing this, but she said that every year Warner Brothers would back up a truck of money and be like, "Look, can you do another Matrix?" And every year they would say no because they have no other story to tell. It's done. And they're like, we're gonna then reboot it. Will you give us your blessing on that? And they're like, no, we're not going to give you we're not going to back you up on that one. And that's when Warner Brothers started playing with the idea of what if we do a prequel starring Morpheus, seeing his younger years, his training and being jacked out of the real world. And then they played around with a sequel idea of what if we set this hundreds of years in the future where these are the descendants of these characters from the first film. So there's apparently a couple of screenplays of those types of concepts before finally Lana ended up agreeing to do The Matrix Resurrections after the way she put it is she lost her parents and I think a close friend within a time span of a year. And in all of that loss, you come to that realization of you're never going to see these people again. And you can't bring them back, but she found comfort in, well, I can bring these characters back that I do know and that I do love, like Neo and Trinity. So that's when she came up with this story because she needed to cope of, let me bring back these characters that I do find comfort in. Brought them back, got a story, called up Warner Brothers, said, I have a story, and that's how we got Resurrections. And Warner Brothers was happy because they want more from this franchise. And in the movie itself, I have seen it. I talked about the trailer a couple months back here on the podcast. I was, excited to go see it, and I did go see it. There's this moment in the movie where it's not a spoiler for the plot itself, but there's a moment in which one of the characters tells Neo, we need to make another Matrix. And he's like, no, I don't, there's no more to tell there. And they're like, come on, we need to make another Matrix. People are wanting it. So in the script itself, it seems like Lana was kind of parodying Warner Brothers as like, we need bullet time and we need action and people are looking for the Matrix and this is what we need. And the whole time Neo's stuck in the Matrix and he's like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like Lana put in there how she felt after she agreed to make this movie of a bunch of people sitting around the desk thinking they know the Matrix and thinking that this is what it is. And you see it all in the movie. It's really fascinating.
Just, I'm thinking of this, meme I found, which I never found it again. Someone saying it's like a group of people saying, we want it's like freaking one of them saying, look at all these people who want the Matrix back. They want the Matrix. And then it's just that one clip where it's just, sure, Jan, sure, yes. And that fits perfectly. Sure, Jan, everybody wants the Matrix back. Most of the people who heard the Matrix coming back just kind of went, what? Huh? Really? Okay, I'll watch it. And because like the Matrix was just this huge. I forgot. I went back and looked. It's like, oh right, I forgot. The Matrix is fucking huge. Like the movies, video games, fucking book tie-ins, the Animatrix specials. Which back then I thought I didn't really like any of them. But looking now with an animation mind to it, it's like, yeah, these are actually pretty good. But the story bits I don't really care about because the Matrix got meta. Sometimes it's like, okay, all right, and then everyone's like, oh, it's like this is everyone's like, this is real now, this makes sense. It's like, you didn't think about this until the movie brought this up. Don't sit here, don't sit here thinking there's some shadowy evil robot cabal controlling our brains right now, because trust me, even the robot cabal right now would look at this world and be like, we can't do this. We need them to be at least somewhat content before we start to suck out their brain life juices, whatever the fuck they do in the Matrix.
Yeah. I love that concept that it kept coming up of the brain in the jar or stuck in the Matrix. And it created, fascinating discussion, but it's also like at the same time goes all the way down to, I think it was one of the philosophers, I think it was Plato or Nietzsche, I don't know who it was, but that they say, I think, therefore I am. That's like the very basic concept of, look, if I am a brain in a jar or if I'm in the Matrix right now, at the very least, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm thinking, I exist, just the fact that I can think. So at the very least, all right, maybe I'm stuck somewhere, but I exist. Like that's where you can settle all that craziness a little bit. But you're right though. It did revolutionize action scenes. Zack Snyder was greatly influenced by The Matrix. A lot of filmmakers were. It changed the landscape of cinema, and nothing can take that away from it. No number of sequels can ever change that or take it away.
Please, God, don't make more of these movies. Don't milk this. Don't try to milk this. If you're gonna do anything, just do what everybody else does. Just make a TV show. Just make a TV show or something that's a spin-off or something. That's a spin-off of it or something. Make your own. Don't keep, it's like, make a new, I don't know, make a new Matrix.
Reboot.
Call it the Neo Matrix, where everybody's not in robot things anymore. The people can, they defeated the robots. The people control the system again. The people broke everybody out of the system. The world's back to normal. Yada yada, something stupid like that. I don't fucking know.
Or cross it over with Terminator. Say that Skynet was a small portion of Matrix or the evil robots.
Yeah, and you show the weird tentacle robot thing shaking hands with one of the T2s, and
yes, merging together.
And then, and then it's like fucking, and then you got like Arnold and Neo fucking both wearing leather and shit, and
yes,
killing people. It's like, make that. Except, you know what? Animate it. There you go. Make another Animatrix.
Arnold already has the sunglasses.
He always has this. Yeah, it's like he already has sunglasses and the leather. He fits already. He just needs to do kung fu and less guns. Or maybe it should be the other way around. Do more kung fu. He should do. Neo should use more guns, and he should do more kung fu.
There you go. Well, you can watch Matrix Resurrections on HBO Max. It's also in theaters. And this month we do have the What's New on HBO Max January 2022 highlights. So HBO Max is coming strong with its New Year editions. These are just the highlights. You can find the full list on comicbook.com for everything heading to HBO Max. I believe it's also on Bleeding Cool. But this list, I'll read them off, and then if any of these pop up, let me know. We've got All-Star Superman, Cop Out, Curse of La Llorona, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Harry Potter, the 20th Anniversary Return to Hogwarts Special, Legends of the Guardians, Guardians of Ga'Hoole, the Lego Batman Movie, Injustice, Pennyworth Seasons 1 and 2, and finally, Teen Titans Go to the Movies. What do you think, Julian? Pretty good list?
I'm very excited for Godzilla, King of the Monsters to come back. All-Star Superman, that's the cartoon movie, right?
Yeah, that's the one where he is dying basically from cancer. He gets too much solar radiation.
Oh, okay, so that's that one. Lego Batman movie, I'm fucking all about that.
Hell yeah.
About that. Harry Potter Return to Hogwarts. It's most likely background. It's most likely background stuff that I've already seen before. I do not know what Legend of the Guardians is. I'm not going to even lie. No idea what that is.
So that is Zack Snyder's only animated film so far. He's working on another one, or at least an animated series on Netflix, not tied into this, but he's directing the first and I think the final episode of like a Greek mythology type of cartoon. But this is the one. It was all CG. It's owls. They have armor on and all this other stuff. It's beautiful to look at.
That movie. That movie. The one I didn't really like. I didn't think about it because I'm like,
it wasn't a huge hit.
I just said, I'm not. It's like, oh no, another weird animated movie. And okay, let's move on. I don't think I have not seen that movie. I guess I can take a look at it since I have HBO Max anyway. Pennyworth. I don't know what Pennyworth is either.
So that one was exclusive to another channel and I think streaming service. It's like a smaller one. I haven't heard of it before, but it was exclusive to that. So that's why I never saw it. I didn't know that it was going to then be optioned off to be on other streaming services. So in this case, HBO Max. So I'm kind of happy about that because a lot of DC people already have HBO Max. So another DC show to show up here. It is basically the young years of Alfred when he was working for the Secret Service over in England and his younger years, all of the different adventures before he became full on with the Waynes. And I think Thomas Wayne is in there as well. So it's a full prequel to just Alfred adventures.
Oh, neat. And, Teen Titans Go to the Movies. I'll watch that. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I liked it too. Injustice, I'm going to avoid. That's the one that people really hated on Twitter.
That's the last anime movie that came out, right?
Yeah, I think so.
See, a lot of people were talking weird stuff on Injustice. Only thing that I know about that movie is this weird scene where Dick Grayson suddenly has a Sailor Moon transformation for some reason.
Well, you should be all about that then.
Yeah, I should be, but I told myself I'm going to give it a look because I did enjoy the games. The games were fun.
Yeah.
I read like a couple of issues of the comic books.
Comics great too.
But I really, really, of course, enjoyed the video game fighting game aspect, because that was neat, and where they went with, and I wish they made more, but it's like, I don't know, we'll see. But I'll give it a look. It can't hurt me. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, it can't be as bad. It can't be as bad as, what's that movie? What's that one animated? It can't be as boring as Tar as that one Teen Titans movie I saw.
There's a few of those.
Judas something?
Oh, Judas Contract. That's where they changed a lot of stuff from the original comic, unfortunately. Although some of it is like, all right, we're in 2020 or 2019. Instead of Slade literally sleeping with one of the Terra, they made it more like he was like, no, thanks, but I'll keep stringing you along because I need you. That's how they changed it.
Oh, goody. So they did the same. Oh, goody. They did the same thing that the 2001, 2, 3 show, the
yes.
older Cartoon Network show did. They didn't. It's like, they didn't go there. Thank God.
No, they did not. Then there's some arguments to be made there. Some wanted it to be truthful to the comic, as uncomfortable as that is. So I don't know.
And then after they complained about that, the Killing Floor came out, and they went fully uncomfortable with it. So it's like, I'm like, okay, Warner Brothers Animation, whatever floats your boat. You're willing to go uncomfortable with rape, but someone's a grown man pretty much convincing a girl that he likes him, a girl falling for an older man, and him just going with it. Okay.
Yeah, that was too far for him.
That's too far. They're both wrong, but it's like, have some priorities, assholes.
It's one of my issues now with the current DC animation, because ever since Bruce Timm left, they used to do these great, faithful adaptations to these trade paperbacks or to these comics. All-Star Superman is fucking excellent, and that's one of the earliest ones when that team was on. Bruce Timm, of course, known from Batman the Animated Series, and All-Star Superman is that movie where it's better than the comic, because the comic's written by Grant Morrison, and he put a lot of, maybe he's too smart for me. Like, I don't understand every bit of it, but he confuses me when he writes these comic books. I can't follow his story or his characters or his arcs along. When I watch the movie, though, it all completely makes sense. To me, it's a better version of it. They even do some takes in this where it just makes more sense from a character growth standpoint towards when Superman stops Luthor, knocks him out, and he tells him, if you wanted to save the world, you could have. And you see in the comic, Luthor has like the bird around his eyes, and his eyes are crossed, like, oh, I'm knocked out type of thing. In the movie, though, but Superman does not throw a punch. He tells him the same line, Lex, if you wanted to save the world, you could have. And Lex just tears up and weeps, falls to his knees, and he says, you're right. And it's just so much stronger in that way, because Lex and it makes more sense too when you get to the end of the movie of why else would Lex want to contribute to a future Superman? And it's just amazing. Watch All-Star Superman if you haven't yet, because I love that movie. It's probably one of my favorite Superman animated ones, if not my favorite.
See, one of my favorites is Crisis on 2 Earths,
with the evil Justice League, right?
Yeah,
Earth
with the evil Justice League, and freaking Superman's like I don't know why the Superman of that one has like an accent. It's kind of hilarious. He's like a New York it's like, why do they have a New York accent? Why do they sound like a freaking Italian mob boss? This is neat. And then freaking, and it's like, the other Batman, he just went insane. It's like, he doesn't care. He just went insane. He's just like, he's extreme nihilism over, and instead of just being too fixated on justice. And it was a good movie. I did enjoy the DC animated movies for a while, because I can't sit down and read all these comic books. I enjoy it, but it's like, give me something. Even back before Disney bought Marvel, a lot of the Marvel cartoons, I enjoyed when they put these comic books in the movies. Some of them were not so great, and some of them were kind of some of them, it's like it didn't help fix some of the confusing aspects of it, but it was always entertaining, and it's something, it kept me engaged, at least with an idea of what the comic book was doing.
And one of the reasons I put Cop Out in here and Curse of is Cop Out is that Kevin Smith film that Bruce Willis would not cooperate with Kevin on. Like, he kept disagreeing on Kevin on a lot of the characters, the lines, would refuse to do more than a few takes, this kind of thing, where he felt like, I know better than this guy type of thing. And that's what made Kevin like, I'm never doing another big budget Hollywood movie again.
Well, Kevin Smith, because he's too busy, and then he decided, I'm going to go and make a He-Man cartoon. I'm going to go help write a He-Man cartoon on Netflix, and make it, and take this freaking fan fiction I found on AO3 and make it to a freaking and make it to a whole series. I tell people it's bad, but you should watch it just for the fact of how ridiculous it is to see someone try to take old style He-Man and make it into modern cartoon writing, because it fumbles and it's hilarious.
it absolutely did not work. No,
no, literally the line in one of the recent ones is, I can't wait to fist him. It's like, oh god, it comes from a character named the Fister. It's
of
like,
course,
oh god, it's like you're just giving the people who said that fucking He-Man made people gay like just more reason to fucking say these things, because it's like this is awkward even for me. And I say some stupid raunchy shit on my channel, and this show makes me feel awkward. And like, I don't like what's happening right now. But anybody should go watch that crazy He-Man show. I laughed my ass off.
And last thing I'll say about this, HBO Max, what's new on is the Curse of, I think it's tied into the Conjuring universe from what I remember. So it's like another one of those tie-in movie spin-offs. They have like one scene at the end or something that has the main characters from the Conjuring movies. I'm like, oh, look, it's all a part of the same thing. So I might check it out. When I saw the trailer, me as a Mexican American, I was like, that's not La Llorona. They did not do their research. She doesn't just bust into cars like that. She lures kids out from their homes. If they're out playing too late, your grandma or your mom or whoever would say, don't be out too late, or La Llorona's going to get you. And that whole thing was
like Mexican boogeyman.
One of many.
One of many.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do they need to make for Hispanic children to be like, I'm just going to do the right thing? Usually they used to put the fear of God in them, or just slap them with or slap them. In my family, we just were afraid of getting slapped with twigs from the church.
Well, there you go. No, there's also El Cucuy, which is literally the boogeyman. But for La Llorona, some believe that it comes from Aztec origin, where there was a younger mom. There's all kinds of variations to the story, but one of the more prevalent one is that either she drowned her kids in the river and wanders the earth looking for her kids, went crazy, after Hernan Cortés, who was one of the conquistadors, ended up, he had many women, many kids all over the place. This is why my last name is pretty common. And it was a Spaniard at some point, that had a bunch of kids with a bunch of Mayan and Aztec women. And then there's a more modern one, someone who was in love with this man, had a couple kids with him, but then he ended up leaving her for a younger woman. So in her desperation and craziness, she murdered her own, drowned them in the river. And same thing, she wanders the earth looking for her lost kids, and she finds kids and kills them and murders them by drowning them in the river, and then cries for them as well. So that's the legend, that you shouldn't be out playing too late or she's going to come and get you. And this movie doesn't do that, though. This movie, she's like this modern ghost of like trying to break into your car and shit like that to try to get the kids.
Sounds like that sounds more like like we're gonna take the Ring, but let's take a random story for someone else's culture and kind of ringify it for no reason. If she crawls around on all fours or has long hair, it's clearly a Ring. Yep, it's a Ring ripoff. Sorry, your culture's been destroyed by the same Japanese, with the same movie that someone stole from the Japanese and decided to make another movie. So it's a ripoff of a ripoff.
Culture's been destroyed. You're deep down, you're like, good.
No.
There's this ongoing joke that Julian hates Mexicans, and he's like, no, I don't.
No, I don't. I love Mexicans too much.
That's been like for years now, right? The ongoing joke on your YouTube channel.
Yes, between that and what is it?
The shark.
The other sharks. No, the sharking one hasn't happened in a while. The sharking one hasn't happened in a while because I'm better at keeping whatever random bodily functions to myself more these days. Because it's like, haha, I farted. It's funny. No, it's not funny anymore. It's not funny anymore. Tease for it now. How dare I? Wait, it's me. It's like I'm the meme creator of the channel, unfortunately. all the memes are centered on me. I hate it. I'm trying to get Jacques and Scott to fuck up more. Actually talking up to the point where they'll get memed. It's working, but slowly.
Well, Scott always has the vampire lady from Resident Evil.
Yeah, and then there's always fucking his weird unnecessary hatred of her. And then there's also like whenever he emphasizes the letter A.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Japan.
With Jacques, it's just random. I can't remember what Jacques
his YouTubers. He listens to whatever's on his subscription channel and he takes that as fact. all their takes, all their wild takes.
Oh yeah, he brings up a wild take and then suddenly it's like, are you debating for it, or are you just wanting to or are you just bringing up the topic just for us to talk about it?
Right.
It's like it's like I feel like you just listened to the first 2 minutes of the episode or read the description and then just moved on. It's like I can read descriptions of videos too.
That's what he does, though. I love it. Every single Wednesday on Lazy Gaming Guys.
I almost convinced him to. I was convincing him to. I told him I was doing this like an hour before you called me. He's like, "Huh? Maybe I should do it. Maybe I should get on here." And I said, "You could always join me today as a surprise." And I could just text Daniel, "Hey, Jacques joining us." But no, I said, "No. Let me. If Jacques wants to join, you're gonna have. You could just ask him directly, and then he'll do it." He's like, "I'll do it. I just don't want to argue about Marvel stuff anymore because I don't give a shit anymore."
Oh my god, that's true. I could have him on and we can debate.
Because that's the problem. He doesn't want to debate. He doesn't know Marvel. He's like, I fell out of Marvel, caring about Marvel after the freaking after the end game movies or whatever. He's like, he's the same boat as I am. It's like okay, I've seen all these movies. I don't really need to continue with this stuff. I've hit a conclusion where I'm satisfied enough. And the last one I saw was piss boring and terrible and contrived. Fucking Far From Home. Just.
Well, yeah, I bet you he's seeing No Way It's Cinema, though.
No, he did already.
Oh, well, there you go.
It was because one of our friends not blackmailed him. What's the word?
Blackballed?
No, they essentially, it's like, you owe me.
Yeah, blackmail.
Like, that blackmail, fine, that works. So yeah, he's like, you owe me for dishing out on not seeing this and not seeing that. And he said, okay, fine, I'll go see this movie with you. How bad could it be? Jacques calls me later on that night and tells me, Julian, you were right. This movie was terrible. And my other friend, who's a fucking Marvel fanatic, he's like, no, it was fine. He's like, no, Jacques' like, no, it's terrible. I'm like, Jacques, I will talk to you about this later. I'm at work. But it's like, we never did end up talking about it. I might have him talk to me about it later. Not on stream though, because I have to make sure no one cares first before I bring it up on. If I bring it up on stream, I'm gonna be like, hey, this is spoilers for this movie. If you care, if you give any shits about it, that might happen tonight. Who knows? But yeah, Jacques already told me, Julian, you were right. This movie's terrible. And then he because especially since he saw the other movie before they went and saw the previous one before they saw it, he's like, this movie was kind of bad, and this movie is bad, Julian. And she's like, I'm glad you didn't waste your time in going and see it. It's like I already told you I wasn't going to because the Sony's the only one who actually makes Spider-Man anything now for me. Marvel doesn't make Spider-Man stuff. What are you talking about?
No, he's very right.
Make a cartoon or whatever. I don't give a shit because I'll watch a cartoon, but I'm not going to watch a live action Spider-Man anymore coming from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, maybe I will have him on, and that can be the review for No Way It's Cinema. Like Jacques, I can just ask him questions and probe him about really what was terrible about this. Like how much
of a turd Reddit lady was this between one and oh my gosh, someone flush that down.
That's the only time I talk about the MCU is when I'm like, I heard this was terrible. Like I care,
I heard this is awful. Go on, stroke my ego. Remind me of how much I don't like this company anymore.
Yeah, like my old boss. Like when we were talking about Shang-Chi, the new trailer had just come out and he was talking to my coworker about it. And he's like, did you see the new Shang-Chi trailer? And he's like, yeah, I saw it. And I didn't give a shit. So I'm not even paying attention. I'm just doing my own thing. And the owner goes, yeah, it looked like a TV movie. Like it's just, it didn't look good. And that's when I chimed in. I'm like, really? It really doesn't look bad? Yeah. And he kept going on and on about the Kung Fu not looking right and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh man, well, I was going to see it, but now I'll just be sickened.
It's like, I want to see, it's like, it's like, oh, look, it's a Kung Fu movie with magic stuff. It's fucking Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with some, I don't know, some mystical Asian movie. Think of one. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. Mulan, but I never ended up seeing that either. And it's like, because it's like I said, after that one, they had one shot to keep me interested, and with my favorite character, and they failed. So sorry, Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm done. I'm good. if I end up watching any of those movies, it's because I was coerced and and bribed or blackmailed. I even asked my roommate, "Do you care about looking at Black Widow since it's free right now?" He said, "Nope."
Right. Yeah. There was like a Twitter list of. Well, let's get into the Brocat block now, since we're talking about what happened in the week. There was a Twitter list where they were doing end of the year, like best superhero movie of 2021. The two largest ones on the poll were No Way at Cinema and Zack Snyder's Justice League. And the Snyder Cut was winning. The poll maker was like, you know what? I didn't include Eternals, or there was another superhero movie. He's like, maybe I'll make another poll. Whoever wins this poll will be on that poll. And I'm like, well, whoever wins this poll is going to win that one too, because honestly, those are probably the two most popular movies this year, is the Snyder Cut and No Way at Cinema. And someone else chimed in with, well, what about Black Widow? That's not on any of these. And I just put the laughing gif, like, really?
You should put laughing jam on there. You should put Omni's face laughing. No.
Dude, if he gives me a short video of him laugh, any of you guys, I will put it up on Tenor and you can show up on the results. Like, and we just use them all the time.
You know, that's the one. It's like somebody asked me, it's like, have you seen any superhero movies this year? No, I have not. Unless you count, no, it's like unless you count me rewatching old movies, then no, I didn't. Because I went back and looked at Superman Returns because someone told me, it's like, have you looked at that movie again? Because I told them, it's like, I didn't really have any thoughts on it because when I saw it, it just kind of like went in one ear and out the other. And I looked at it again. I'm like, I don't. It's like, I still don't see what you see in this. I still don't see what you see in this movie. I see that what you like. I see what you like about it, but it's nothing that I really care about because I feel like this movie's very dramatic. It's very dramatic and not. When I want a superhero movie, I want something to actually happen.
Well, that's the thing with Returns. That was the biggest criticism. So then they hired Zack Snyder on, where they're like, we need more action in a superhero film, and he fucking delivered. That was Man of Steel was amazing.
Yeah, I looked at Man of Steel. It's like, yeah, besides the whole Superman destroying a lot more than usually Superman would, I enjoyed it. It's like I get it. It's like I enjoy it. It's like and then after hearing what they did, it's like, oh, that's the point. Superman's supposed to be destroying more shit than he's supposed to because it's gonna make Batman be like, I have to stop that. I have to stop that. Make him cut that shit out by killing him because that's the extreme we're going with here. It's like, and then watching Batman v Superman, it's like, okay, I get it. I understand it now. I understand it now. It's like I did not look at it. I looked at it I was, unfortunately, will admit, I was looking at that movie with a group of people who weren't really inclined on seeing the movie. And then I was only there because I was, as per usual at the time of that movie coming out, I was told, you don't hang out with us enough. So I think I was already in a sour mood. Just like with The Dark Knight Returns, I saw it. It's like I saw it again. I'm like, okay, this movie is okay. I can see what everybody likes about this movie. I can see. It's like I don't like it. But even though I went with the same person to see the movie Hansel and Gretel, and he hated that movie, and I'm like, yeah, vampire, yeah, storybook people killing vampires. This is great. It's like, why do you like this campy shit so much? Like, I don't know. It's like, this is what happens when you've grown up on bad C-list 80s movies that don't do anything except spill out one-liners like they're Ash and Evil Dead.
Has anything else been going on since the last time you were on the show, Julian?
Holidays.
Well, that's true.
The holidays. I work retail. The holidays destroy me wanting to do anything. I did in the middle of it, I finally managed to beat the story for, I'm not even going to say the fucking meme for Final Fantasy 14 right now because I'm not in the mood. But I got through that. I enjoyed it. I need to actually talk to Bobby about that, about some of the stuff in that and see how he feels about it. But it was entertaining. And then I beat a Pokemon Brilliant. Which one do I have? Shining Pearl. There we go. I don't have Brilliant Diamond. I beat Pokemon Shining Pearl. Cynthia did do a good wipe of my team because unfortunately half of them do not like Earthquake very much, and I went against I took a bunch of Pokemon who don't like Earthquake against the Garchomp. I don't know what I was thinking, but I managed to beat her anyway. So yay, I'm good at Pokemon still. And what other game did I beat? What other game have I played and beat recently? No, you can't really beat Animal Crossing. It's just me playing a lot of Animal Crossing since they updated it, like a lot of it, and hanging out with other people when I had the couple free hours between work and passing out. that I could muster.
Did you see the Bulbaganda video where he beat Cynthia with the Bulbasaur only?
Yes, I did see that.
It was like X attack, X defense. All right, now he's juiced up. Let's go.
No, it's like that's how you. It's like, because I've been doing research. Because I'll just go ahead and tell your viewers before I tell mine. Essentially, well, they'll find out tonight during the show anyway. I'm going to be next year. Like in the beginning of February. I'm going to start a Nuzlocke.
Oh, in 2023.
That's all. Yeah, 2023. I'm doing a Nuzlocke. That's all I'm streaming until it's done.
Oh.
Everybody else, Scott and Jock can stream whatever they want, but if I'm streaming, it's going to be the Nuzlocke because I want to try it out. Watching all these people do Nuzlocks and watching Nuzlocke videos and seeing that, one, I need to stop ignoring all these X attacks, guard specs, and all that stuff because it saves me from dying a lot.
Yeah.
And since the point is not to die, I kind of need to do it. The only problem right now is I'm still trying to figure out what game I want to do. I figure out if I'm going to emulate something or just say screw it and buy another copy and like buy a copy of Shining Diamond and beat it with that, or wipe my Pokemon Sword file and keep the Pokemon I have in it, then wipe it, and then start a Nuzlocke with that because I already looked up what conditions I want to use for it. I'm going to save what the conditions are when I start the stream and show it off, but I'm not going to be like super crazy about it. I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, no healing during fights. No, I'm not that confident in my abilities.
Right, yeah.
Because, it's like one unfortunate crit or something that I can't predict for and I'm gone. And then suddenly the whole run falls apart. Also,
Exactly.
Even though I will be streaming it with Jacques and Scott, I will not let anybody, there will be nobody else is going to tell me what to fucking do in the fight. I'm going to be doing that fight on my own with my own brain because I've seen what happens when people are influenced by others and fuck up very, very easily. It's like suddenly you lost a Pokemon to something that you could have avoided if you were paying attention.
Scott will tell you. He's going to give you suggestions.
Scott, there is no stopping him from giving me his 2 cents. From whatever I catch, it's going to be like, oh, I caught this. It's like, this run's going to be awful. You don't have any good Pokemon.
I kept wanting to bring it up. I was rewatching your stream a few weeks back when, Jacques was playing Pokemon for the first time and you were chiming in like, no, don't get that move. Get this one. No, don't. And then Scott was like, let the boy play his game. Just let him do his thing. Let him experience it. And my mind immediately went back to Kingdom of Hearts 3 when you finished it for the first time. And Scott kept chiming in like, oh, did you like that character? Well, now they're dead. And I'm like in the chat like, Scott, let him fucking play the game.
It's like hypocrisy.
Let him experience it.
Hypocrisy. It's like, you're not going to like this. It's like, yes. Oh my God, stop making me anticipated.
Right.
This is exactly why when I was going through my Final Fantasy expansion, I kind of told everybody it's like I'm going to disappear until I'm done. That I played with, I'm like, I'm going to disappear until I'm done because I don't want to be influenced by everybody and their emotions. And
that's a good idea.
Because like now, especially since like on my own time, I've beat Tales of Arise, and it's like I had to beat this without talking about it because like I'm the only one who out of 3 of us, I'm the only one who actually who's played it. Scott wasn't able to get it till like last week, and now but I don't know when he's gonna beat it. And Jacques, I have to fucking convince him to actually get to it because God forbid he actually play an anime game for once. But yeah, I'm trying to. It's like just like with Omni and how he's like, I'm going to split off from you guys for a while so I can actually experience some of these story-driven games while I'm streaming because you guys the conversations are hella distracting. It's like and that's why me and Scott kind of gave Jacques flack for that. It's like, Jacques, you played a dialogue-heavy game while we're streaming. You should know we're not going to not have random conversations. It's not fair. We can't interact as quickly as you, because even if you were like streaming it through even if he managed to stream it through OBS and we were looking at it through that, and I was looking at it through there and had the comments open on another thing, there still would have been a slight amount of lag to it because we're not all operating at the same. We don't operate at the same internet levels. We don't have the same internet provider that's going to give us the same whatever bullshit that they want to give us.
Right.
So especially since Scott's in another state,
yeah,
it's gonna interacting like that's gonna be difficult unless it's like a recorded video like we used to, where we recorded stuff and then we played it back and then we actually interacted to what we did there. It's it's going to be very difficult. Me and Jacques were supposed to like test this last week, but I got super busy. And I told him I'm going to have to reschedule, like trying to use the OBS thing to see if it could work for the, streaming, the Twitter streaming thing and all this stuff. And not Twitter streaming, Discord, and then seeing if that works. But like I said, it's going to take some time to get used to that. And then also if we end up, and that way, if it does work, we'll just try and see if we can like do something like our old commentaries, but they're going to be live, and that yet going to be live. It's just going to be the three of us talking, looking at the video, interacting with the video game person playing the video game more often than us having random. And then it's like another avenue where we don't, besides streaming, because I'm trying to find new avenues for us to do more content that doesn't involve streaming that works with our schedules.
Well, I look forward to watching more of your streams, especially watching you fall asleep on your streams, I should say, because it happens every single week. It's going to happen tonight. I've been enjoying this episode, Julian. Thank you very much for helping me kick off 2022 and for being a part of the rotation. Let them know where they can start watching some of these streams.
You can watch our streams on youtube.com/@LazyGamingGuys. We also post on our Twitter page on @LazyGamingGuys, or so you can. We always post when we're streaming, and then we also have a Discord link on our streams and the Twitter page that links us to our Discord, where we also announce when we're streaming, and also you can see all the random bullshit that we post. Just a reminder for anybody who watches this podcast under age of 18, we do say some raunchy shit. So if you get in trouble by your parents, that's on you.
There will also be links on everywhere you can find Lazy Gaming Guys and Julian in the description of today's episode. And if you do end up joining, if you do have a Discord, absolutely join Lazy Gaming Guys', and we are on there too. A lot of the Lazy Gaming Guys are on our Discord as well, and you can get more anime and gaming from their Discord, and you'll find a lot more DC comic and collectible stuff in ours, and that's in the description of today's episode as well. You can also head on over to thereasonsimbroke.com, and you will find a link to everywhere you can find this, including that Discord. So I want to thank Julian again for joining us on this week's very first episode of 2022. It is a privilege. I feel lucky to be able to still do this podcast throughout 2021 and now into the new year. And to you on the other side, thank you for joining us for another year of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast. And if this is your very first episode, hopefully you join us next week. So thank you once again. I've been Daniel, joined by Julian, and Brocat Core, all will be well. So in this Nuzlocke challenge, is there one Pokemon that it would absolutely gut you to lose across on your journey here?
Okay.
And actually let them know what Nuzlocke means too, because not everyone plays Pokemon.
Okay, so when it comes to so Nuzlocke, I actually don't know what the heck that means. Essentially, like the point of what a Nuzlocke is, it's a normal run of Pokemon that whatever Pokemon you get, you nickname them. You can only get the first Pokemon that you see on each route. And if it faints, you can't use it anymore. It's dead to you. You can release it, send it, keep it in the box that says dead mons. Doesn't matter. But you can't use it anymore. And pretty much that not only forces you to use a finite amount of Pokemon, that also forces you to strategize on what you're going to do. Some people even do random ones where it randomizes all the Pokemon that you get, and that one's crazy. Those get crazy. And then some even do randomized Pokemon and randomized typing. So you could find a freaking Bulbasaur, and suddenly that bastard's a fighting type.
Oh wow!
So I'm going to be doing that because I've been watching a ton of videos about it, and Nuzlocking, it feels like the next level of Pokemon challenge. It turns what essentially people call a baby game into a sadistic game for college graduates or just adults in general. And essentially it just turns into Pokemon Fire Emblem, where it's like you lose a person, they die, you can't get them back. There are some stipulations that people put in it where it's like, hey, I play this game and I played this game modded, or not unmodded, on an emulator, and it's like, I have this one Sacred Ash in my backpack, which it revives any Pokemon, which is a revival item from that you get from Ho when you fight Ho or something. And essentially that one item can like let you bring back whatever you want. Bring back one Pokemon back from the dead. That's a rule. Or the one rule, another rule is you can't use potions you can't use potions at all in Pokemon battles because it's, essentially that just adds more difficulty to it. Yeah. There's a lot of rules that you put to it. People actually make their living streaming this kind of stuff.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to get like clout or anything. I'm just doing this as a Pokemon fan who's been interested in this kind of thing and wants to actually like see it, and then I'm gonna stream it for everybody. Because what's the point of doing a Nuzlocke if I'm gonna share it by myself? It's like, oh goody, I did this on my own. I did a Nuzlocke on my own. It's like no. Nuzlocke is clearly for you to share with other people and for other people to see and Pokemon and share with other Pokemon fans.
Well, we're gonna be stressed alongside with you, man, because you're gonna lose that one Pokemon that's been getting you through. Like, oh my god, my level 34, and it's always tough to see that kind of shit.
I'm just worried that I'm gonna get a fighting type. I'm gonna freaking like latch onto that bastard.
So it's a choke. All right.
Yeah, it's either a fighting type or a bug type. I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna latch onto that. It's like, and then like if I play a game with a Heracross and I get a Heracross, I'm just gonna, and if I lose, I'm gonna cry. I'm just gonna be right. I'm not gonna cry. I'm just gonna be very disappointed. The Nuzlocke's gonna stop for like a good 10-15 minutes of me just mourning. Yeah, and then maybe I might move, but then I might move on. I'm not gonna end it right there because I have to beat it for whatever I nickname them. And then if I do any of the Kanto games, I told myself I will not use Charizard.
Kill him right away.
Yeah, it's like no, I will not use Charizard. I will only, if I do Fire Red or Leaf Green, I will get Bulbasaur or Squirtle. I'm not messing with Charizard. It's just no
hard mode. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's hard mode in the beginning, and no, it's not hard mode in the beginning. That one, it's going to be my strongest Pokemon. I'm going to have to rely on that throughout everything, and then the next two gyms after that, it's going to kill it. So
yeah, that's true.
Actually, all the gyms in the beginning are going to kill it. So no, and it's like no. I'm going to use Bulbasaur and Squirtle because I'm tired of Charizard. I'm tired of using Charizard anyway. Real Pokemon trainers get tired of Charizard.
Real Pokemon trainers don't choose Charmander.
Pokemon trainers don't choose Charmander. They choose Bulbasaur or Squirtle. Not because it's easier. No. Because you hate following the group of everybody. Like, look at this awesome fire dragon lizard thing. It's not a dragon.
It's not a dragon at all. Dragon these nuts, by the way.
Bulbasaur doesn't lie to you about being a giant flower thing, and Bulbasaur doesn't lie to you about being a tank turtle.
That's right.